This is Tony Fawcett's top 5 gravel tips. This is what I will be doing for this week's Dirty Reiver. Number 1, it's an obvious one, just make sure your bike is ready for it. Gravel racing is quite tough on your equipment, and if you have any sort of mechanicals, it's just going to make your day out an absolute misery. Get it serviced. If you have just had it serviced, make sure you take it for an hour's shakedown ride on some rough terrain, just to make sure that everything is spot on and it's running as it should be. Electric gears, make sure your batteries are charged. Any mechanical gears, if you've just had the bike serviced, normally you get a little bit of cable stretch, so the indexing will go out slightly. So just make sure you give it that good shakedown ride, because gravel is pretty tough on your equipment. So tip number 2, feeding. We all know how I tried to feed last year for the Dirty Reiver. I thought I'd get round on a couple of water bottles and a pack of 4 pork pies. That went epically wrong. I got 100 mile, felt $1 million, and then by 105 mile, I was absolutely creeping, and it looked like I was probably going to have to walk the last 10 mile. But constant feeding, that's why I put the little top tube bag on. I hate the look of these things, but in there this year, got a whole load of Connecticut gels. Connecticut are supporting us with all my feeding requirements for all my racing this year. So I'll have Connecticut gels in the top pouch. I probably will sneak a couple of cheeky pork pies in there, just in case I need myself a little treat halfway around. Midget gems, I absolutely love them things, so I'll also pop some of them in there. I will run 1 water bottle on the bike this year with the carbohydrate mix in it. And then this year, another thing that I said I would never ever do, I'm going to run a hydration pack. Hydration pack just means I've got that little bit extra space to pack a few more bits of food, rain cape, any sort of other bits and pieces that I need to carry, but also allows us to carry enough fluid, or I won't need to stop in the early feed stations, which means hopefully be able to hang on to the fast wheels for that little bit longer. Probably run 2 litres of a carbohydrate mix in that, just keep trying to top up with fluids all the time. Hydration pack, little top tube bag, 1 water bottle. That should get us round. Last year, what I found with gravel racing is it's actually quite difficult to get anything out of your back pocket once you start. So the idea of the hydration pack just means that I can drink quite easily, and the top tube bag will allow us to get to the gels and any other feed items that I need quite easily. Tip number 3, tyres. Tyre choice, the correct tread for the race, the correct width of tread for the race, the correct pressure. It's a bit of a minefield. Dirty Reiver's not that bad, it's quite smooth gravel, it's not like massively rocky, whereas something like the Gralock is a lot more rocky, so you have to have these variables in mind. So tyre choice, that's key. For Dirty Reiver, I've gone with a really fast, smooth tread. I was running a 47mm Terreno dry, and yeah, I found them really good this year, but I just wanted to go a little bit narrower, so I've gone with a narrower tyre. I'll probably run about 30 psi on the day. You could afford to go a little bit lower, but like I say, you just run the risk of having punctures by going too low, and it's a big day out, and the last thing you want to be doing is being into the last part of the race and having numerous punctures. It's got to be running tubeless. It's essential. Back in the days of mountain bikes, where before tubeless became a thing, it was just, you could never run your tyres pressures to the right pressure that you required, so you always ran them too hard to stop you running the risk of punctures. Now we've got tubeless, it just allows you to get that correct tyre pressure. The roll much nicer. The sealant inside them, which is another key. Make sure your tyres are topped up with the correct amount of sealant. Last year, Gralock, I had a stinker. I didn't check my tyres. I got a puncture. It was a type of puncture that would have just sealed up. However, I didn't actually have any sealant in the tyres that actually dried up. So yeah, make sure you check the tyres. Tip number 4, it's an obvious one. Most gravel racers insist that you have the bare minimum of these. Spares, spare inner tubes, spare links, all the best, all the tools that you're going to need to repair your bike, because the last thing you want to be is like 60 to 70 mile away from home and walking. Let's be honest, that would be pretty shit. So all the spares you need. I've got a multi-tool on the bike, I've got a pump. I don't use CO2, just in the past I've had nothing but problems with it. It's absolutely critical. Tip number 5, kit. Kit's absolutely essential. Dress with not enough on, you're going to have an absolute miserable day where you're just going to be like freezing cold all day and you're going to be burning massive amounts of energy trying to stay warm. Dress too much and you're going to just overheat immediately as soon as you hit the first climbs, the hard parts of the course. So it's a tricky one, gauging where and what you should wear. Look at the weather forecast. My tip is just pack. Make sure you've got enough to put on just in case it is too cold. You're better off starting out a little bit cooler and then riding into the effort and finding that actually I'm still cold, and you can always put a jacket on. For the people that are challenge is just getting around the 100 mile, then my advice is definitely make sure you've got enough kit on to keep you warm all day. You can always, if it's just a nice day out and a challenge, you can always stop and strip kit off. And that's my 5 gravel tips. Don't forget, there is still merch down below in the link if you would like one of these pretty nice t-shirts for looking Shazam this summer. Please remember to like, subscribe, and do leave a comment. I enjoy all the comments. If you've got any more tips that you think are worthwhile, please leave them down below in the comment section. Thanks for watching, but most of all, now daft.